Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the Fitness Education Online Podcast. I am super excited because we've got a very special guest this week, all the way from Baltimore in the USA. If you're a fan of The Wire, like I am, you'll know where Baltimore is, and that's what Hailey's known for. You know, she's straight out of the Wire, one of those people there. But anyway, a little bit about Hailey. Essentially, what she does, she has a couple different things. She's a fitness trainer herself, and she helps women get in shape online. And now she helps trainers do the same thing as well. So if you're a trainer and you're doing mainly face-to-face work, Hailey's the sort of person that can get you online. But anyway, without further ado, let me introduce the one and only Ms. Hailey Schmidt, all the way from Baltimore. Hailey, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, and I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. We're excited to have you. Hailey, I like to start all my podcasts off with a quote or mantra that inspires you or fires you up. Have you got one for us?
Yes, I do. I'm nice version. I'm not sure if I can curse on here, but
No, you're
why,
good. Go for it.
why the fuck not me?
Yes, love it. Explain to me, Hailey, what does that mean to you? How did you get that quote mantra?
I can't even tell you where I first got it from. I must have read it on somebody's post or something, and it stuck with me because I think, especially as an entrepreneur, you realize like there is no ceiling, there is no limit. You can just keep growing this unlimiting business and life from it. And so, anytime I see someone that's reaching some level of success that's above mine, I just look at it, why not me? Why can't I do that too? I can do that too.
Yes, love that. I use a similar theory in my life. Let me think of how I live mine. So mine's just like I can't think. Well, yeah, I guess with me, like I used to be obsessed with Beyonce. She's popular in Baltimore as well, right? Beyonce.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah. And when I was a few years ago, I was like, you know what? I want to date Beyonce, and people would laugh at me. They're like, ha, ha, yeah, good one. And I'm like, what? Like, what's she got that I don't have? Like I'm just another. Like she's just a normal person. I'm just a normal person. What does it matter? And same as everything else. So I'll look at someone else and yeah, great, they're successful, they've worked super hard, they've got some skill sets, I really respect that. But they're just another human being. If they could
yes.
do it, so can I. So I love
Oh,
that you.
I love that. I embrace every bit of that.
Well, Hailey, I've obviously been following you for a while on Instagram now. Someone's watching this, listening to this. They don't follow you. They haven't heard of you. I know I gave you a little bit of a intro, but expand a little bit on that. What is it you do? How did you get into it?
So, I'm a fitness coach and an online business coach for other fitness coaches. I've been an in person trainer for 9 years, and I transitioned to completely online coaching in the last 2.5. And it was just such a huge transition for me in my business. I'm a mom of a 2 year old. And so those timelines line up very well because it just got to a point where all in-person trainers know it can be exhausting, the hours, the instability, the every month is different clients and you're up and you're down and there's off seasons and it's so out of your control. You really don't know what's going to happen next, what your schedule's going to look like. And so becoming a mom and being home with my daughter, I was like, I'm not doing this. This is not going to work for me. I'm not going to pay somebody to be here and watch her at all these crazy hours. And I wasn't going to give up what I loved either. So that was when I just went head first, invested significantly in a coach to bring me up to speed to get online. I made that shift. And in the first year, I went from the craziness to a constant six figures and
Woo!
from at home and raising my daughter. And so to be able to have the best of both worlds as a stay at home mom and live this and just reach more women than I could ever do in person because you're so limited by your time. It was that unlimited potential that I tapped into. And as soon as I got hold of that, I was like, everyone needs to know this. Everyone needs to know that you don't have to struggle if you want to be a fitness professional or make money, but give up your life and your time and trade that off. So that's when I shifted into the business coaching for fitness professionals specifically that want to move in person to online. And so that's what I help them do.
Love it. Well, you've got me excited. I'm sure everyone listening to this excited. You got us on a few different points. A lot of people listening to this aren't making six figures in there in person. probably like, hey, I just want to make a few dollars on the side of online. If I can make 6 figures online, I'm doing good. And that's 6 figures in US dollars as well, right?
Yes.
That's even more than 6 figures. We'll be happy with 6 figures in Australian dollars over here. If you can give us some tips.
I don't know what it translates to. Good. Either way, good.
Yeah, exactly. And if we can do it in a time efficient way, that's great as well. So, and also what I recommend, everyone jump on and follow Hailey on Instagram now. If you listen to this on the podcast, hit pause, go over to Instagram. It's Boss Lady Hailey. Or by the time you listen to this, I'll have it in the show notes anyway. So just click that, go and follow her, and then listen to what she does. Okay, let's get into it, Hailey. Let's say someone's watching this and they're like, 6 figures online. Hailey, I've got 1 or 2 clients. I'm working my ass off and I'm making, 50, $100 max a week, How the hell do I get to 6 figures? Where does this person start? What's the first thing they need to do to get them on track?
It's really important to know that as a business owner, what you're doing, no matter what field you're in, you're solving a problem. So your only job as that business owner is to find a solution to a specific problem. And so you really want to identify what you help people do and also who you're helping. One of the biggest mistakes that I made for a very long time that a lot of fitness trainers make is that we're trying to help everybody and anybody, right? We're grasping at the dollars, we're grasping at the clients. And especially if you start working with the gym, they're handing you clients. You might not work with them, you might not fit well with them, but you're taking anybody and everybody. And so when you shift online, it's really important to get really clear on who you want to help, who that person is. And when you can identify that and get clear on who this person is, the specific problem I'm going to help them solve and why I'm unique, you're going to take over. Because when you start creating content and your social media around that, and all you do is talk to that person about that problem again and again in as many ways as you can, you're creating those moments where people go to your page and they're like, holy crap, this girl is in my brain. How does she know everything I'm thinking, everything I'm struggling with? And so you're speaking so directly to that person, they can't help but reach out to you and say, how do I work with you? How do I get connected? Tell me what's next.
Yes, I love it. Wow, so much good bits of info there. Let me break that down and then we'll move on from there. And I think this is such an important topic online because I feel if you don't have this, you're probably not going to be successful, to be honest. Would you agree with that? If you don't have this part down packed, it doesn't matter what your Facebook ads are, what you're posting on Instagram, how good of a trainer you are, how funny your videos are. If you don't have this part, it's going to be an uphill battle. And I love how you mentioned business is simply solving a problem. If you look at business like that, everything changes. It's not a job. It's not like, hey, I do this. It's like, what's the problem? Where's a problem? How can I solve that problem? That's what I'm getting paid for. And I think if you can get your head around that, everything else becomes a lot easier. And yeah, the who, it's like you want to know that exact person better than they know themselves. One of my favorite marketing quotes is if you can describe your ideal prospect's problem better than what they can, they're going to assume you know the solution. And that's exactly what Hailey said earlier. They're like, man, that's exactly how I feel. This person knows exactly how I feel. They must know and you should know the answer as well. But it's sort of like, you should know the answer. It's not about that. The hard part is convincing other people to give you money, right? So, but if you can describe their problem better than what they can, then it's going to be like, okay, this person gets me. I'm going to pay that person there. So I love that you brought that up there. And yeah, once you have that in order, hey, I help this person achieve this result by doing this thing here. You're off to the gates. Can you give us any tips there, Hailey? Someone's listening to this and they're like, I get it, but I don't know who to help, or I've never, because I think a common one is who you used to be. But someone may be listening to this and be like, well, but you know what? I want to help people lose weight, but I'm an athlete. I've always been an athlete. I've always been being good at sports, so I can't do that. Or maybe it's a man that likes training women, or I guess I'm just gonna hand it over to you. What tips can you give us there?
Yeah, so I like how you said kind of looking back on who you are as a coach, because I think that's a key. I think there are 2 ways to identify who you're helping, who your ideal client is, right? The avatar that you're looking at and that you're creating everything around and based upon, right? And so the first way is if you already have clientele, you might already know. You might know this one client, I love working with them. They show up, they do what I tell them, they connect with everything I say. We're building that bond beyond just this fitness or nutrition or whatever you're doing. And they're getting the best results because they're following your plan, right? It's such a click. So you might already have that ideal client. And so it sounds bad to say, picture your favorite client, but picture your favorite client. The other one is where I work with a lot of people who are brand new. So they're new trainers and they got into this in person. They're like, this is not what I expected. There's got to be a better way, right? And so if you're brand new and you don't have enough clients or experience to really do that and choose your favorite client, maybe you haven't had that person yet. You will, but not yet. Then you're going to look back at your journey, because there's no better way than to describe a journey that you know really, really well. So for me, for instance, I focus a lot on mindset because that's what got me into this was anxiety and panic attacks. And this was sort of my outlet and how that grew and I overcame that. And so that's the journey I describe. I reach back and I go to those women that were exactly where I was and pull them forward to where I am now because I know that path. I know what I felt like then. I know what I experienced, what the struggle points are. For the athlete you mentioned, there are so many people that fall into this category. Well, I've been fit my whole life. I don't have the before and after photos. I've always been an athlete, right? Well, what happens when you graduate college and you don't go pro, right? What's that next level? You don't have a coach telling you what to do or how to work out, and you really don't have any knowledge because you only had to listen your whole life to be fit. And so many athletes, after that career is over, they don't know how to get fit. They don't know what to do if they're not forced to get up at 4 a.m. 6 days a week and go to practice. So there's always a problem. And generally, it's going to be if you don't have that ideal client, you reach back to who you were when you started yours.
Got it. Question here, Hailey. Do you think it's better to spend a bit of time face to face first? Is it better to say, hey, I'm just going to spend a year, 2 years, go to a big box gym, just train as many clients as possible? It's not my long-term goal, but it's going to get me in front of people, know what I like, know what I don't like. Would you recommend that? Or is it better off just being like, no, if I know I'm going to be online, I'm just going to start online and figure it out this way here?
That is such a great question. That's a really good question. So there's two parts to it. I think that you need to have experience.
Yeah.
It's harder to train someone online and know what's going on if you haven't experienced it with a client and made those adjustments. You don't know, you're unfamiliar with the limitations. And honestly, I think a lot of trainers can relate to this. You don't realize, especially when you've gone through fitness and you're already at this certain point where you're a trainer, you forget how ground zero the average
Yeah.
person is.
Yeah.
Some people don't know what's healthy at all. Some people don't know what a squat is. And it blows our minds because we're so far from there that we forget. And so in person, I think gives you that experience to be able to know, okay, this is where I need to start people and not jump them into the craziness. And also how to deal with different clients and things that go on in their journeys, how to make those adjustments. That being said, I think that there are a lot of people who have hopped online directly and are very successful. And knowing the struggle bus of in person, it's hard for me to say start there, right? And struggle for a couple years and go through the craziness. So I'd say to get yourself out there and get that experience, especially if you didn't go to school and get more than just a certification, I recommend doing both.
Yeah.
Building that presence, building your online business while at a gym and picking up some clients here and there so you have both.
Gotcha. And to be honest, it doesn't even really need to be a gym, right? Might be like, you know what? I'm just going to get a group of friends and run a boot camp, every Saturday morning, or, train a few clients at the park, and do a little bit there. But hey, I'm also going to build my online presence as well. I guess it doesn't have to be all one way or the other. We can do a bit of both, and it's only going to help. So, okay, cool. That makes sense there. Let's move on to, I guess there's two sort of ways I want to go from here, Hailey. If we can, I'd like to cover them both. What do you think it's better to talk about first on this podcast? Should we talk about, all right, great, now we know who we're going to help. We've got that ideal person. We help them face to face. Now we're going to move online. Should we talk about, okay, how do we find these clients online? Or should we talk about, okay, well, how do we actually train these clients online? I'd like to do a bit of both on this podcast, but which one would you prefer to talk about first, the sales and marketing or the delivery and support side of things?
It's tough. Let's say sales and marketing, because you got to get the client first in real life too.
Yeah, good point. All right, cool. So now we know who we're going to help. We've got an Instagram, but it's a few hundred people and they're just our friends from high school and, maybe some of our clients and ex-clients. And same thing, we've got a personal Facebook profile, but it's mainly just our friends with a few clients and ex-clients. What do we do? Do we start there or do we, take over the world first? And I guess and even a little side question here, if you can bring this in as well. Here in Australia, anyway, a lot of people want to get online because they want to get out of their own area. I live in a small country town in Australia. There's only a handful of people here. In America, there's hundreds of millions of people. How do I reach those people there? Do we do that, or is it better just to start in your small town with your friends and family anyway? Or once again, I'm going to hand it over to you. What can you tell us, sales and marketing wise?
Okay, hopefully I'm not missing any piece of that questions here. So when it comes to coming on social media, I think a misconception a lot of people have is I'm going to step onto this space and I'm going to reach all these strangers and these random people are just going to find me and want to work with me, right?
I
But
wish.
you. They don't like you, they don't trust you, and they don't know anything about you or your expertise. So even though we're marketing and building that business online, and that's how we're speaking to those people, more often than not, your first clients are still going to be friends, family, referrals, in-person clients that you've had or had in the past. Those are going to be the people that come to you first very naturally because they know you. And maybe you're just now a trainer and officially a fitness professional, but they've seen your journey. They see what you look like, they see your lifestyle, and they want that. So even though we're speaking to more people, it's important to know. And I think it's so funny. We tell ourselves, well, it's not as big of a deal, or we're not as professional if we're only training our friends and family. But that's where you build a business. That's how you start. Some of my clients that are the biggest, join every program I have, whether it's fitness, business, anything, they're local girls. They're Baltimore girls that know me personally or know me through somebody. So get that out of your mind that that's not good enough or that it's not going to start there, because no matter what you do online, you're still going to reach those people too.
Yeah, and I think and I'll piggyback off that because I think there's maybe another thing as well where I think maybe a lot of trainers are maybe scared to get in front of their friends and family, or don't have that confidence. Whereas if it's a stranger, you're less vulnerable. It's sort of like, if I ask a stranger something and they don't do it, I'm not going to see them again anyway. But if I post it on my personal Facebook profile and my auntie sees it and my family friend sees it, I'm going to look like an idiot or that sort of stuff there. I think we need to get that out of there as well. And it's sort of like, if there's one thing I've learned from social media, you don't want to rely on the kindness of strangers. If social media has taught me one thing, it's that there. It's probably better post it in front of your friends and family, get some likes, some comments. They're probably the ones that are going to share it anyway, which is going to help get you in front of new people anyway. The more people that are liking and commenting and sharing it, okay, now all of a sudden you might get some friends of friends. And there'll be more trust, even if you don't know them directly. Oh, that person knows Hailey, or Jim follows that person. Oh, how bad can they be if Jim follows them? I'm going to follow them and sign up for their program, and he can get the ball rolling there. So I think that's an important point there. But yeah, sorry, continue on. What about from there? Let's say, great, we've got a few of our friends and family. Does it just snowball from there and they tell their friends, or they give us, they share on their profiles, or is there other things we can do to expand or grow our following or expand our database?
Yeah, so I want to say something to what you just said too about being scared about the friends and family, because it's so, so true. And I think we need to go in and do a couple things. One is just get it out of your head. Do it anyway. It's going to happen. You're going to have to get through the fear one way or another. So just rip the band-aid off. The second thing is treat your business like a business before you even have your first client, and other people will too.
Yeah.
Because when we step into this world, there's going to be a lot of people in your life, in your personal life, on your social media that they don't understand it. If they've never run a business, they have no idea. And they're going to have lots of opinions and lots of judgments and things to say, but they don't know. And so it's important to go in knowing I'm going to run my business like a business, and people don't have a choice but to respect it as that, or they won't get the time of day in my business.
And even I'll piggyback off that a bit as well. Like if one of your friends or family is not going to support your business, are they really a friend or family? That's the way I look at it. I think I look at it two sides as well. I'm like, treat it like a business. Like, if you're serious about your business, you should be sharing it on your personal profile. That's what you do. You know, it's like it's part of who you are. And if your friends and family are going to have negative opinions on that, are they really your friends and family? Are they really the people you want? It's probably a good cleaner, you know. It's like, okay, I might. You don't have to unfollow. There's some options now. I like the hide option or the on Facebook, you can unfollow, which is great. They stay friends with you, but you don't see their posts, and you can hide them seeing yours. And so there's always options like that as well. But sorry, continue on.
Yeah, so true. So true. I think I could go down that rabbit hole with you and just keep talking about that topic, because I think we can't forget that we are the biggest roadblock on this journey for ourselves. And so if we have these mindset blocks where we're so afraid of these people and that we know and love, and whether they support us or they don't support us, it has nothing to do with them, nothing that you're doing. When you become a business owner, it becomes about your client, your ideal client.
Oh,
That's it. I don't want you to focus on anything else. Block it out. It is you and them. And it's barely about you. You are providing a service. So we're not showing off. We're not, caring about what people think about us. All we're doing is serving that client, and going in that way is going to come off that way to your client, that you care about them, and also other people, that they can keep their opinions to themselves, because you're going to do it anyway and you're going to help this person. So
can I pick one last interruption? I promise. Then I'll get. Just because this is what really helped me, because I used to be that person as well. You know, I'll post in my group. I'll post in my group where my friends and family out there, but I'm not going to post on my personal profile. No way. But then I can't remember if I saw a video or a quote or something like that. But it was basically it was something along the lines of this: the minute you care more about helping your ideal client than you care about what other people think of you, that's when your business will grow. And something just clicked when I read that. I was like, because it's almost selfish the other way. If you're not going to post something that can help other people because you're worried about what someone's going to say about you, in a way, that's selfish. Like, don't get me wrong, I get why you're scared and why it's uncomfortable, but it's selfish if we come down to it. I'm not saying that as an insult, just if we look at it objectively, it's selfish. So that's the way I approach it now. I care more about helping other people than what I do about what people think about me. Once I got in that mindset, everything became easier. But sorry, I'm going to end it there. Back to you. How do we grow our following, Hailey?
I already told you I could keep going down that one too. So I was riding with you. So when we do that, that's actually a really important way to do it. And it's really important to remember that on social media when it comes to reaching your clients too. So I'll weave it in a little bit. But going on your page, I think it's easy to get caught up in us.
Yeah.
Even when we're trying to reach our client and our ideal client, we're still taking our gym selfies and worrying about our angles and doing all these things and saying, I'm so cool, I'm so this and that. And there's a place for expertise. And hey, I'm a professional. I know what I'm talking about. I'm living that life. But there's another piece where your social media doesn't become your personal social media. Now it's your marketing place for your business. And that's all it's about. And like we said, your business is about your ideal client. So essentially, everything you're posting, everything you're doing is for them. It's not just to post. It's not to show off. It's not girls' night out or guys' night out. This is my ideal client's problem, and I'm going to talk about it in as many ways as I can. And so when it comes to reaching people on your social media, that is all you're doing. I think that a lot of people, again, we get in our ways and we think, or in our own way, and we convince ourselves, well, my likes are dropping, Hailey. If I write those paragraphs that you're talking about, if I go in depth about all these things and just talk about that one problem, and I'm not taking those gym selfies anymore, I only get 50 likes. I go from 300 with my gym selfie to 50. What is that, right? But I want you to go in very clearly before I break down some of the posts that are the most important to reach your clients on a marketing aspect, just so that we can get clear in the same mindset going into this. That those 50 people, imagine if those 50 people joined your program, right? Imagine if you got 50 likes, but you got 5 $1,000 contract sales, right? Would you rather have those 5 clients and that 5 grand, or would you like 300 likes to stroke your ego and say, wow, I do look cute in that gym selfie. I am a professional, right? We know what we want in that.
Likes don't pay the bills, right? You can't
Yes, likes.
can't go to your landlord and say, hey, I got 300 likes. Can I have the rent for free? It doesn't work like that.
Yes, exactly. Or a marketing tactic of, look, I got 300 likes on this. You should work with me, right? Nobody cares. Nobody cares about it, right? And so it's important to go in and just go in with that mindset. So when you're creating content, there are a few types of content that are the most appealing to your ideal clients that are going to create those. Yes, she's in my brain, but also I want to work with her. She understands me. She speaks to my soul. She knows what I need, right? And you're cutting through the overwhelm of fitness coaches. We know it's saturated. We know there's a million people out there. And so the more clear and right, that dagger right to your ideal client that you can get, then you're going to cut through everything else and they're not even going to see those other people, right? Becky with a protein shake has nothing on Hailey, who knows my exact problem and I feel like understands me as a human being, even though I just followed her today, right? So there are a few types of content. One is storytelling. Storytelling is super, super powerful because that's where you take them down that road, either a personal story or a client testimonial, where you put in that catchy line that gets them to open it up and click and read your actual post and the content you work so hard on. And then you take them through that story of, this is where my client or I, whatever example you're using, was. We were this, 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 and you're listing those problems that your ideal client has, the pain and the feeling that they have right now, so that they're following that story with you right in their pain. And then you say, I had this. Then you provide your solution, what you have, and where that got you, right? The good feelings, the goals of your clients that they tell you that they want and that they're working towards and that they can't get to. You're taking them down that journey. By the time they get to the bottom, they want what you're selling. They don't care what it's called. They don't care what catchy name you have. They're in. The other type of post that's really, really important is showing off your expertise and your authority, right? Because people want to know that you know what the heck you're talking about, right? And it's not just with the gym selfie, because everybody's doing the gym selfie. Everybody knows there are other fit girls and fit guys all over social media, right? So that's not it. You're talking about your wins. You're talking about your client wins, and you're educating them. So it's important to go through some of the most important content that is going to get people into your programs, into your coaching, is showing off those results, and not just the visual ones and the story, the impact, the change that these clients went through. And in a sense, you're kind of bragging. You're kind of showing off how great you are, how smart you are, how great your clients are, and they're so successful. But that's building your authority to say, okay, she knows what she's talking about. And then the last one, I already kind of mentioned it, is educational. Another way that you're showing people what you're talking about, that you know what you're doing, is educating them some way. Maybe it's breaking down a myth, a fitness myth, the 1,200 calories or do hours of cardio, something that so many people are convinced is the solution, but it hasn't worked for them. And you educate them so they say, wow, I thought it was just about this simple concept, but now she's telling me that I'm not failing because I'm doing a bad job or I have no willpower. I just didn't know that. I want to work with her because she has knowledge and expertise and she's going to teach me.
Wow. Okay.
So much.
Awesome. Okay, let me unpack this. Let me think of where to start. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's start with the like side of things. And I'm probably a good example of this. So I follow a lot of good-looking fit women on Instagram, that sell fitness products. I'll like their photos, but I'm never, ever, 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 ever buying anything from them. Their tights or their protein or their fitness programs, So it's like, I think especially if you're a guy as well, I guess, but I think especially if you're a woman and you're good looking and you post a good looking photo, okay, you're going to get a lot of likes, but half of them are just guys that think you're hot. They're never going to buy your program there. So I think that's a way to look at it, where it's not about the likes, it's about the people actually liking it, and are they the people that are going to do it? And you can probably, I do a lot of the time as well, I'll see like a good looking woman, big Instagram following, I'll check who's liked her photos, and they're just all these, sleazy foreign guys. So it's like, okay, let's see who's, sorry, I shouldn't even say foreign, sleazy guys. They could be from anywhere, it doesn't matter where they're from. So I think that's important there, but also for guys as well. Okay, great. You've got you look good, you got a six pack or whatever. Okay, it might just be girls that think you're hot, liking you. Doesn't mean they're going to be, people that are going to buy your program. So I think that's important there. And it doesn't even have to be a looks thing as well. Like there's a difference between posts that are going to get you clients and posts that are going to get you likes, even if it's not a look thing. It could be other things. Post a photo of your cat, great, or your dog, okay, great, it's going to get you a lot of likes, but is it going to get you clients? So I think that's important there. I love your 3 points. The storytelling. The reason I love storytelling, because me personally, and I'll ask your opinion as well, Hailey, I hate getting told what to do from strangers. And you jump on Facebook, hey, if you want to be successful, you need to do this. You want to lose weight, you need to do this. It just turns out I don't need to do anything. I'll do what I want, But if you tell me a story, hey, I used to struggle with this. And then I used to find this, but then I did this, this, and this. And hey, guess what? Now I'm in this. You could say the exact same thing as someone else trying to tell me something, but because you said it in a story format, I'm actually listening to you because you're not telling me what to do. You're just sharing a story, but you're influencing me in that story to essentially tell me what to do. And then also it just feels more personal. Not is it you telling me what to do, it's me getting to know you better. You're telling me a story about yourself. Great. Now I actually know Hailey a little bit better and I know what to do to get fit or to grow in my business. So it hits those two stones there, which I think is good. Expertise and authority. Yeah, I think especially with results, it's like that's what gets me on anything. If you can show me results, I'm in. I more than any, like, storytelling, yes, as well, education, yes, as well, but results probably the biggest for me. If you can say, hey, here's a guy that did my program before, here he is here, whether it's fitness, whether it's business, whether it's martial arts, whatever, show me someone that show me multiple people, because then we're going to have one testimonial, right? Show me multiple people that, sucked at something and are now good at it, and show me that they're real people. If you can, or yourself. If I see that, that's what signs me up there. I'll DM that person straight away. What gets me actually, and this is what I think, I think one of the probably the best way, probably the hardest, but the best way. Like if you can get your client to post that testimonial, that's what I think is the last personal trainer that I signed up for. I wanted to improve my mobility and flexibility. And one of my friends posted a before and after of her doing a bridge. She's like, hey, my flexibility used to suck. After 3 months of training with Hannah, here's what it is now. Here's the photo before, here's the photo after. I DM'd Hannah straight away. I'm like, hey, I want to train with you. What do I do? Because it was, and it's at multiple different things. Firstly, it's the testimonial that got me, but also it was one of my friends as well. So I was like, well, hold on. Because, you can go on, testimonials are easy to make up. But if it's my friend that posted that, I trust it. And then it's good for the trainer as well, because I wasn't connected with her, but we had a mutual, the mutual posted, yada, yada, yada. So I love that. And then, yeah, educational, because it just gives you that light bulb. Man, Hailey's got non-stop tips. Every time I jump on here, she's just got a different tip with that's as awesome for me. This is a free stuff. Man, I've got to do a paid stuff, because what if I miss a tip, or, I need to find one tip from here and then another tip from there, and then, but hold on, what do I do with this? This is just too confusing. Just give me your program so I can go step by step by step. So I love all three of those there. Okay, let's move on to delivery, Hailey. Now, this is a big topic, right? It's like, okay, online, is it, are we a coach? Are we doing, live Zoom sessions? Are we giving them videos? Are we, using apps, YouTube? What do we actually give? I guess that can be endless. And once again, I'm going to hand it over to you. What do you deliver, or what do you recommend people deliver, or what are the options? How do we actually help these people solve their problem?
Yeah, so when it comes to choosing your platform, a couple things. One, decide what you prefer. And two, where's your ideal client? I have clients who love LinkedIn. Not for me. I will never get on LinkedIn, but their clients are on LinkedIn. So you have to know where your ideal client is hanging out. So that's important to know. But also, it is your life. And so it's important. I talk a lot about everything's about the clients, not about you, but you're still building a business that's sustainable for your life. And we go into this world because we want to be the boss and we want to make the rules. And so one of the rules you can make is choose your platforms. Choose what you enjoy most. Once you do that, start with at least one that you just get down pat before you do 15, because you're going to lose your mind. You're going to half-ass it. You're not going to show up 100%. And there's not going to be that content that is, holy crap, she's in my brain. How do I work with her? Right? So that's the first step. For Instagram, for example, I love Instagram. I have a feeling a lot of the people are using Instagram. That's where most of us are these days. But it is so important. And I know some of you are going to be mad at me for saying this. Hop on video, show your face, show your personality, your energy, and really show up for people. Reels are huge right now. You can't avoid it. Don't avoid it. You have to get on there. Everybody is spending hours scrolling on it, and you can have 500 followers and have a video that gets 70,000 views if you create one piece of viral content. So for building your audience, reels are huge. And then once you have them in, your stories are really important. Hopping on there and talking to your clients every single day, because you want to go from, and you touched on it earlier, of, people follow you just because it's a hot girl or this or that or the other thing, right? And so we want to go from that motivational person to that person that everybody wants to work with, that person that has something that everybody wants. And so what helps you stand out from being just somebody who, okay, you're cool, okay, you're motivational, what makes you stand out and creates that buy from me moment, that I want to work with me moment, is building that trust, building that connection with people. And so when they see you on your stories and they're saying, wow, I love her personality, wow, her energy gets me every day, I love hearing what she has to say, or, oh my gosh, her life is so much like mine, I can't believe she's a mom running around with a toddler at home every day and working out, I didn't think that was possible, right? So you're building so many connection points, and ultimately for people to work with you, you can have authority, you can have reviews, you can have the connection, you can have all, or the education, you can have all those things. But if you have no connection with them, if they don't like you, they're not going to want to spend money, time, or hop on a video or training with you at all. So video is king, and you have to use it. Sorry, you have to do it.
Okay, yes. And I took a story just then as Hailey's talking. I'm like, you know what? I got to take a story and post it on my Instagram. So I took it just then. But yeah, you hit it on the head. Like even if it's not an online thing, I've even gone to a shop before and there's something I wanted to buy, but I didn't like the shop, the salesperson at the shop. You know what? I'm not buying this. And then I get sucked in the other way as well. Something I half want, but the salesperson I just like. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy this. She sold it well. He sold it well. Yeah. So important. And yeah, I love those things there. It's like video. It's so like, it's just easier to build trust on video. It's like, yeah, you can do it with posts and photos, and that's okay, but it's just going to take you so much longer. It's just so much easier to do it with video. And yeah, reels these days, it's just, you go to that middle, just up, all these people. I quite like reels because it shows me new people. If I go on my feed, it's just the same people over and over again. But if I go on reels, it shows me new people. So that's cool. And yeah, storage, just so quick and easy. So I think they're cool. Now, what about delivering the program, Hailey? Like, what do we actually, once someone signs up and they're a client, what do we give them? How do we train these people online?
Oh, there's so many answers to that. So I'm going to try to give
In 5 minutes or less.
answer. Yeah. And if you want to direct me or have me go more specifically anywhere, let me know. So with actually training your client, there are so many ways to do it. I mean, and try it out. Find what works for you best. I always recommend everyone get a coach. So if you have a coach, generally, they're going to guide you on where to start, what some of those apps and materials and methods to work with your clients. Some, just to name some that I personally use and that my clients use, a lot of my clients use Trainerize, which is an app that you can bring your clients in, you can track their progress, all of that good stuff. But I'd say that's even on the more fancy, complicated end, and it's really not that complicated. But you can keep things super, super simple. I think something that I have to help my clients get past all the time is I need a beautiful decorated workout plan and I need everything to be pretty and so professional and this, that, and the other thing. When realistically, they're not paying for a pretty PDF, right? They could care less. If you get them the results, you can write it on a sheet of paper and screenshot it to them, right? We're not going to do that. We're not going to go that ghetto, but you could.
Even Google Sheets is probably a
That they
good
want,
good
the
example
material
there.
that they
You know,
want.
I was just going to say Google Sheets is probably a good thing there. You know, it's like, okay, it's probably the next closest thing to writing it on a piece of paper and screenshotting it, but it can often be good enough. You know.
Yeah, and I've used my whole business. I'm Google Sheets and Word documents.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, if you're doing, I should differentiate here. If you're running a group program where you have everything set in stone, you have the workout set in stone, people just choosing their path and it's already created one time, go for it. Make it pretty, put that effort into your program. But for those who are starting with that one-on-one coaching, especially, give them the materials effectively. It doesn't matter if it has a pretty aesthetic. If they can see what the workouts are, have a link for videos or some kind of way to learn form, and they have how to do it, all of that stuff, that's all you need. Keep it super simple on how you're handing the material over. And then when it comes to creating, not sure if you want me to go down the path of what to give clients.
Let's do it. Yeah.
But when it comes to what you're giving clients, stick to have all the basics included. But I want to be very clear on what you know. So if you don't know calories and macros, don't go sign in your clients calories and macros, go get a certification, go take a class before you do things you have no idea, right? But include those basics that your client needs and that you're knowledgeable in, workouts, nutrition, those kind of things. And then in everything you do, whether it's group, it's one-on-one, add something that is unique to you, right? Maybe it's that mindset. Maybe it's calls. Maybe it's, I don't know what it is. It's something that you teach that makes you stand out from just having workouts and nutrition. And I think that's what's going to really be that selling point, that tipping point that people say, I want to work with her because she has something extra or he has something extra that I want and I know that I need to be successful.
Yes, love it. Yes, such good tips there. I think you hit it on the head. Probably the best thing is to hire a coach because there's just so much out there, so many different ways you can do it. And I actually think there's probably two ways you can mean by hiring a coach. And I'll ask you that question, Hailey. When you mean hiring a coach, are you saying hire a business coach that can teach you how to do it? Or are you saying hire an online fitness coach so you can see how they do it, or both? When you say coach, which way do you mean?
So, good question. So I automatically saying it, I mean business coach.
Okay, yeah.
But there are a lot of people, and it's important to learn from other people. If you see someone that is living your life, your goal life, then they got there with certain methods, and they're going to probably work for you too, right? But I would choose a business coach versus a fitness coach, and a coach that has almost like a template style of coaching, right?
Yeah.
It's super important that if you're following a fitness coach, for example, you don't have a template, you don't have a fill in the blank system. You have this is what they're doing. I can copy it or I can guess, right? With a business coach, they're going to say, here are your options. You get to decide what works best for you. And so I think I lean towards that way. I'm biased, of course. But from being someone who's been through different fitness coaching programs, it is so different to me. And even the way I talked about Trainerize, some of my clients love it. I loathe it. I'm like, why am I going to make this complicated if I can just put it on a Google Doc, right? So you might be the exact opposite. And so it's really important to have options so that you can choose and you're not running your business in a way that you feel like you're grinding gears or just miserable the whole time.
Yes, love it. And yeah, so many good things there. Okay, so let me expand on this. So yeah, I think just if you want to do it the hard way, try and figure it out yourself. Go and read blogs and try things and spend hours. It's going to take forever. Like, it's just going to be so much quicker and easier and cheaper if you hire a coach and then they'll tell you exactly what to do. It's just so much easier. I do like both sides. I think obviously a business coach is better, but I think it doesn't hurt to do some sort of fitness program as well, because you might get some ideas from that. Or either way, you might get some ideas of what to do and some ideas of what not to do. Yeah, it's like, what the hell? How am I meant to know if the class is on this time, or there was a call on this time, or how do I log in? This is so complicated. It may be able to give you tips there. So I think that's important. And if you're looking for a coach, just reach out to boss lady Hailey over there. Her Instagram link will be down in the show notes. And yeah, the unique side of things I think is so important, especially now. Like maybe 5-10 years ago, you could get away with just being like, yep, I help women lose weight. I help mums lose weight. I help, busy dads get rid of the gut. I help entrepreneurs get more energy. You could be able to do that 5-10 years ago because not as many people were online. But now it's like, yeah, I help mums lose their baby weight. And so there's about a million other trainers. Why am I picking you? Oh, you do it like that. You know what? I've never tried it like that before. I might do it. Oh, but hold on. I also get this as well. You know what? I'm going to pick you over these other people because you do that there. So I love that you've brought that up. Hailey, I want to be sensitive of your time, and there's just a few questions I always like to finish up with. The first one is around mentors. Now, you've dropped mentors a few times throughout this podcast, so I'm curious to hear who your mentors have been, and if you could answer this in a few different ways. If you could give us a mentor that you've paid money to, you've done their course or their coaching program, whatever it may be, a mentor that you haven't paid money to, but you follow them. You follow them on Instagram, you listen to their podcasts, you watch their YouTube videos, whatever it may be, and a book that you recommend every fitness professional should read that wants to grow their online fitness business. What can you tell us there? Mentors paid, unpaid, and book.
So I think my answer is probably going to be different than your average answer. I'm kind of copping out on some of them. So I'm really big on, obviously, you're right. I've mentioned mentors so many times. I'm really big on it. In my first year of switching online, I invested $20,000 in coaches in the year. And so it's important to know, to get where you're going, paying someone who's already been there and knows the way so you don't have to guess or reinvent the wheel is so valuable. Why add the stress and the hard work and the years of guessing and the emotional roller coaster that entrepreneurship already is, when you can get the template, you can get the step-by-step process. I'll start with my mentors that paid. I'll name drop a few that I love. Megan Yelani, and her Instagram handle, I think, is just still Megan Yelani is her name. Adore her. She's really, really good and business coaching specifically, but she also comes from a fitness coaching world. And so your question was so great, I think, of fitness or business, and I chose one that's kind of both. So I think I was ahead of the game there. So I love her. And currently I work with Mariah Cause, who, another name drop, but she's business specific and she helps any type of business. And so I think it's really, really important for when you're choosing a coach, and it's why I kind of can only answer half of this, that you invest in someone to give you their time. I don't have any like free mentors that I've used or really like stalked on social. I've stalked both of Megan and Mariah, but the only reason I stalk them is I stalk till I find them. And then if I like them and they speak to me and they educate me and they have the reviews, all those check boxes that I teach my clients, right? I look for too. And if they check those boxes, I take my money. I am a client. I don't care if you can get me there and we click on that way, take my money. Because as a business owner, and from the very beginning of this call, just like I advise everyone starting going to business, treat your business like a business, treat other business owners in the same way. And so I will never be the person to slide in someone's DMs or ask for free help or anything like that. I stalk until I like the coach or I don't like the coach, and then I move on to the next one until I find somebody I like, and then I pay them to be my mentor. So those are the two that I really stand out and that I've invested in. And so I can't stress that enough. Just go in, make the investment, get the person. And so I don't really have free people. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I have a book that I would really recommend for fitness trainers specifically. So I'm kind of copping out of some of these questions.
Okay, let's
Go.
all right. Let's spend a minute on this one here because I think there's a few important points. A lot of people might listen to this and be like, she spent $20,000, like, well, that's crazy, like my house doesn't even, my car doesn't spend that much, I don't pay that much on rent. But here's the thing, Hailey makes $100,000 a year. And if you put it like that, would you spend $20,000 to make $100,000 a year? Why would you not? I mean, if it all fits in place, why would you not? So I think that's important. And just mentors in general. I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan, and you like him as well.
Yes.
Awesome, cool. He's got a saying, something along the lines of, you can pay someone who's spent 10 years mastering a skill, and they can probably teach you most of that in about 10 minutes, right? It may be a bit different online because it changes pretty quick, but the philosophy still stays the same. Like, if someone has already mastered these skills and they've spent, even say 5 years doing it, like, you got two choices. You can spend 5 years trying to do it yourself, or you can spend a few $1,000s and get them to teach you right now. For me, that's an easy option. And then ideally, you want to keep going from there. It's like, okay, great. I spent whatever, $5,000, but now I'm, 5 years in front of where I would have been. What's the next step? Great. Now I'm 10 years in front of where I would have been. What's the next step? Great. Now I'm 15 years. And that's what I find the difference is. People that stay the same and haven't had a jump in 5, 10, 15 years of business, or people that every year are doubling their ROI, increasing their profits, because they keep investing. So I think that's important. And then, yeah, if we go back to the fitness business side of things, I think it's important both. I think it's, and it depends what stage you're at. The way I look at it, I think if you're brand new, the more specific, the better, right? If you're just starting off an online fitness business, you've never done it before, it's probably best to hire an online fitness business coach, someone that has that template and say, hey, here's what I give all my people, just put your own spin on it, because it's so specific, Um, and because if you went on like just a general business coach, I'm not saying it wouldn't help, it would, but they just don't have those intricacies in there. But in saying that, there is advantages going the other way as well. Because if all you're doing is just using the same strategies that everyone else, you actually gave some different tips there. Most people with their mentors, it's the same people. It's Jonathan Goodman, it's, Alex Hermosi, it's the same sort of Lynn Trin, it's the same names that come up. And if they're just teaching the same, not saying that they're bad stuff, but if they're just teaching the same stuff, everyone's doing the same stuff. But if you get a business coach completely out of the industry, you can put your own spin on it as well. So I think those two are important. Hailey, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover for today. Is there anything I should have asked you but didn't? Or is there anything you want to finish us off with?
Not really. I mean, I think obviously I could have gone down the rabbit hole with you in so many of the things. So I'm glad you checked on time because I didn't even realize it's almost been an hour at this point. But just making sure that a couple things that we talked about are just so important. The mentors, of course, but also just getting past yourself because you're the biggest wall in your business, and just rip the band-aid off and do the dang thing, because why the F not you, right? You can do it. You can reach those goals. You can be that person. And so get out of your own way and get some help to get out of your own way, and then watch how far you can go. And every year, look back and remember how you felt a year ago when you thought you couldn't get here. And then the next year, when you look back again and say, how did I get here? And it just keeps going. If you're growing and you keep going to that next level and putting yourself in positions and in rooms with people that are next level, you're going to keep up leveling too.
Yes, love that. One last piggyback, then we'll leave it to it. Yeah, I think that I think also getting, as you mentioned, they're getting in rooms with other people above you. That's half the reason why I go to seminars or invest in business coaches and masterminds. Half it's for what I'm going to learn. Half of it is just for getting around other people that motivate and inspire me. And I'll tell a quick story about my background. My background is I used to run a fitness boot camp, and I used to suck at it. Right, I worked at a franchise, and there were 75 different locations all over Australia and New Zealand. And you were ranked on your retention, how many of your clients came back. Now, I think I almost spoiled it by telling you that I sucked, but if you had to have a guess, Hailey, what do you think I was ranked out of 75? Number 1 was the best, 75 was the worst. What do you think I was ranked?
I don't want to guess that. I don't want to guess that on a podcast. I'll put you
75.
Or is it a down?
75, dead last, right? And we had to go to, don't worry, I got better. I went from 75 to 1, right? It gets better. And then I taught other trainers how to do it. But at that point there, when I was 75, we had to go to a meeting with all different 75 locations, right? And I didn't want to go because I'm like, man, I'm the worst trainer here, And not only did I think I was the worst trainer there, it was statistically proven. There was a pie graph showing you how bad I was, you know? I didn't want to go to this event, and I had so much resistance. The only reason I went is because I knew if I didn't go, they would have fired me. If I went, maybe they would have fired me, maybe they didn't. But even that mindset, now that I look back at that, no wonder I was coming 75th. You know, if you said to me now, hey, Jono, go to this room and there's going to be 75 people better than you, I'll pay $20,000 to go into that room, you know? But back then, I was scared to get around people better than me. So I think that's a good message as well. You know, if you're listening to this, if you can get around places where you look like an idiot, it's probably a good thing because you won't look like an idiot for long. And then when you get back to, you know, your normal life, you'll be up at that level there. So thank you for bringing that up. But I'm going to leave it to it. Otherwise, we'll talk all day. So thank you very much for your time, Hailey.
Thank you so much. Had lots of fun.